What's up, guys? It's Eric here. We are watching a VOD from Dish Soap today, and I just want to say the race for rank 1 right now is insane. When I recorded my videos the other day, I did my Dish Soap VOD review and my Jazz Latte VOD reviews. They were both at like 1400, 1500 LP. Dish Soap was rank 1, then Jazz Latte got rank 1, did some VOD reviews. Then today they both streamed again, both had an insane stream. Dish Soap just ended, he averaged like a 2.8 or something like that. He climbed to 1700 LP, and Jazz Latte is still going right now, and he's at 1699 LP. So if he even top threes a game, he's probably gonna be back in rank 1, with both of them being over 1700 LP. And third place on the ladder is literally at 1250 LP. They might have a 500 LP gap by tomorrow on third place. But I don't know. It's just incredible to see this level of competition being pushed in North America. So cool to see. So today we're gonna watch a game from Dish Soap. We'll probably watch some more games from Jazz Latte in the future, and just the back and forth is so insane. Just both of them having insanely dominant performances is just something incredible. Also, both of them, I believe, picking the Ezreal Legend, because how could you not? Um, so we see a strong Noxus opener from Dish Soap this game. Yeah, just kind of got it all. As the Irelia frontline, which is a really solid frontline when you're opening with Noxus. We'll be curious to see if he ends up actually committing to this Noxus comp, seeing how contested it might be. That person took Zaun +1. That is very interesting. Curious to see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, here, let me move my head so that you can see Dish Soap scores so far on this stream. 2.6 average. He has 0 bot 4s. I'm pretty sure across the entire stream, he had 1 bot 4, and I don't know. Let me pull over Jazz Latte stream right now. Jazz Latte stream also, he had 1 bot 4, which was a 5th. So I think both of these players have just almost sort of like cracked the patch. They have figured out how to play in such a way that they almost never bot 4, which is something you see when someone is incredibly dominant in TFT. TFT is a game with a lot of variance, but if you are good enough, you can make that variance disappear, and that's absolutely what's happening with these players. So, next time you complain that, oh man, I couldn't even, there's no way I could have top forward this game, man. TFT sucks. I mean, if Dish Soap can top four, 15 games in a row at 1600 LP, you can probably top four your game in platinum. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so yeah, we're on this Noxus board. He considered the Ionia like pivot for a second, and it also gets Rogan with the Zed, which is quite solid. But I do kind of just like Noxus early game. I feel like it does so much work. He also has a Deathblade that he can slam here. So yeah, the Gargoyle, I think it just makes perfect sense onto the Aurelia. The Hodge slam on Katarina, it's one of her best items, and then he ends up slamming Deathblade here, which means that he's likely not angling for a Noxus game. Looks like he's just gonna early carry these units, and then ideally get into a Ionia game later, because like Deathblade is not really BIS anyone on Noxus. You don't really want Deathblade on like Darius or anyone. I mean, I feel like ideally we'd take like a 3 cost here, but they all got taken up, so he has to basically take this Teemo with tier. A little bit awkward, but the tier can be Protector's Vow. It's not the end of the world. Would have to imagine Zed just comes in here. Yeah, and he still doesn't want to fit Ione, and I think this is still correct. I like this. I feel like this is strongest board, in my opinion, but we'll see. Also, just solo frontlining the Irelia, so that she gets as much gargoyle value as possible. I mean, it's a very strong board. I could easily see him 5 streaking. I think the way that a lot of these players guarantee that they don't bot for a lot of games is through just incredibly dominant early games. You watch Disho play a lot of games. You watch Desolate play a lot of games. Almost every game you look, they're win streaking during stage 2 and stage 3 through just playing strong export early. Because if you hit one tiny little high roll, you can if you play appropriately, you can win streak. I mean, look at Dish Soap Spot. He has 1 2-star unit on his board, right? Just the Irelia, and he's like slightly high rolled and hitting the Katarina, and boom, it's just 5 streak. These players take a tiny little advantage and just turn it into an absolute chasm over everyone else in the lobby. Because look, immediately, Dish Soap 5 streak, no one else is 5 streak right now, and he did it with like no real upgrades of any kind. Like some of the Deathblade on Samira, really just aggro stuff that works if you know how to play strongest board and you play some good TFT. I have to imagine his level 6 is gonna finally be getting Ionia in. We'll see if he gets anything crazy from orbs here. Yeah, I mean, I definitely just make 40 there. The echo's a little bit tempting, but you're probably gonna end up winning play just Katarina plus Zed in this setup, so it's quite hard to fit Echo. So yeah, he levels here, and oh, speaking about just like playing for streak, playing really aggro, he's just rolling here, rolling kind of deep actually, rolling below 10 gold, though he's gonna be able to get back up to 10, just for some upgrades to continue his streak. So yeah, really aggro play from Dish Soap, but I mean, I kind of love it, like you. I don't know. It's definitely something that I would be tempted to like greed and not roll there, but he just knows he has so many avenues for upgrades. Hitting any Ionia unit will high roll him. Hitting anything 2-star. He's got this Katarina pair. He had the Kled pair at some point. All right. Reroll augments here. Any grab bag is just kind of broken. Young Wild and Free, I actually took it the other day for the first time. When I read this Young Wild and Free augment, I thought it sounded awful. Um, and then I actually started playing with it a little bit, and it like kind of feels not bad. It actually feels pretty solid. So yeah, like when you're in a spot like this and you're win streaking really hard, just guaranteeing that you get first pick on next carousel, you can just take whatever. It's really like better than first pick actually. It's like negative pick because you pick before first pick, so it's like zero pick. But yeah, like it's pretty sick. Ends up slamming the Edge of Night here, which is yeah, it was his only slam really. So he does end up losing his streak finally to that Bobby X player, so a little bit rough. It's another Kled here, so he does end up having 4 Kleds here. His items Urge. Okay. Usually this thing does not lag. I can knock down the quality if it continues to lag. I'm sorry. Um, Okay, okay, so he's gonna move items off Katarina here onto the Kled. And Kled's a really strong item holder. This is something that's like I feel like one of the harder things to do in TFT is recognize when you want to move items from one item carry to another. Kled definitely stronger. Has this remover, but the problem with using the remover is that he really wants to be able to play around Ionia later. And so losing the Irelia 2 and like having to remake her and find another Irelia 1 feels really bad. Um, I mean, a Hodge is a very solid item. You can go for double Hodge. I feel like it's just double Hodge here. And then you could just place that like one on Yasuo, one on Kaisa, or like in a weird scenario like Yasuo Kaisa, like double Hodge Yasuo or something, but probably not because it's probably gonna be Edge of Night Hodge DB. You don't have to slam though, right? We'll see if he waits on the slam or if he honestly he just scouted a bunch of boards. I saw like a pretty strong Tristana board. Looks like a lot of the time he will have to slam here. Yeah, I think it's appropriate versus this board to slam. They have really good in slot Aphelios. At the end of the day, it is an Aphelios though, so we're probably fine. But yeah, I mean, it's just really clean early gameplay, right? It's 3-5 and he has 95 HP. And when you play this kind of really clean early game, like moving the items over to Kled, like beautiful, but also just saving the remover, I think makes a ton of sense for late game. Just really clean play means that it's actually very difficult for you to go bot 4 if you play very cleanly. If you make little to no mistakes, you're not going to go bot 4 most of the time. And that's what we're seeing from Dish Soap and from Jazz Latte and the games that we've watched from him so far. So yeah, just really cool stuff to see. I'm curious how his level 7 roll down is going to go. If he's open to anything else besides Ionia. Ionia is obviously a really straightforward thing to play from here. The only other thing you could maybe play is like put items on an Urgot or something, though it would obviously be a lot weaker. So yeah, I think he's scouting around now. This meta is so much about scouting and seeing how contested you are. I saw at least one other player, probably at least 2 people who are potentially angling for this comp. He can hold on to the Warwick pair, and he's hit most of the board already. Honestly, like there's Warwick too. Yeah, he finds a Kaisa. Like if he can just find like Yasuo and then like maybe Karma too, like his board is almost already stable. But yeah, he finds the Yasuo here. Finds Yasuo pair. There's Karma too. Okay, so he's hit a lot of upgrades. He doesn't have enough time to finish the pivot. Okay, this is nice to see. It's good to see that even players like Dish Soap sometimes can't full pivot their board in one round. Like when I do this, I'm all like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I could have pivoted so much faster. And then you watch probably the best player, if not, I mean, the best North American player playing on NA, right? Um, and it's difficult for him. I'm curious here. He snaps mana burn immediately. I've seen a lot of people take a challenger +1. Oh my god, and he hits Yasuo there. I think it was still quite reasonable to keep rolling in that situation. You have Shen pair, you have Callista pair, you have Yasuo pair, and you have one Kaisa. Like there's actually a lot to roll for there. So I think it's pretty reasonable to roll in that situation, and he ends up getting rewarded really hard by hitting the Yasuo. And so now he's got 3 item Yasuo. He's got this mana burn. He's 95 HP and win streaking. Can easily go level 8 from this position. He's also 40 gold because of his earlier win streak. This is how it happens. You know, you look at a match history like this and say, How does he do it every single game?" And then you watch the game and you're like, "Oh yeah, why would he bot for?" You know, like what's gonna make him bot for? Unless he just misses every single unit. Unless he rolls like 50 times and doesn't hit a single upgrade, which is just quite unlikely to happen, but will happen one in 50 games, one in 100 games, or something like that. Like how is this guy gonna pop four? Who know? Like I don't know. I actually don't know how you can make this man pop four. Ooh, we're fighting a Kale board. This should be interesting. Also, the Kale immediately aggroed onto the Yasuo, but he managed to drop aggro with his ult. This is a board that's been popping up a lot more recently. I'd love to do a VOD review of someone playing this board. I think Rank 1 China played it a bit, so maybe I can go steal a VOD from Rank 1 China playing this because yeah, like uh, a lot of people have been playing it recently. Ice item here, Shojin is okay, but we can't actually end up getting that. Yeah, our items are pretty griefed here. Maybe just like cloak. We're really gonna take a second sword. He does take a second sword here. I mean, I think he ended up with only second sword being his option. All right. He does level for Warwick here, so that's interesting. 79 HP. He's lost his streak. The Warwick's a big upgrade on his board for sure. Just getting in for Chali feels really, really good. And then also, if he can ever find a set over this Zed, then it's also Juggernaut. Um, but it does hurt his econ a good bit. I think his read is that if he goes A tier, he doesn't really need to roll. His board will be quite strong, and so he still gets to make the 10. So he's like sacrificing a lot of econ for HP here. That it's definitely the decision that is being made. I don't know. It's actually an interesting decision whether you'd go 8 there or not. You're adding a Warwick 2 onto your board, which is the really big thing. Um, so I think just the fact that you have this Warwick 2 sitting on bench, it feels too bad to like not put it in. Also interesting Yasuo positioning where he puts him on the like on the edge basically. It's speaking of edge, because he has Edge of Night, it actually feels a bit better. Um, but it's interesting because he will take aggro from corner a lot of the time. All right. Oh, and I didn't even realize this is the galaxy we're in, but we're in the one where you get treasure dragon basically. Ooh, I mean, that's probably good enough, right? Second shroud for your mana burn. You can blue buff the karma. It's fine. Oh, unless he wants to reforge it. I mean, I guess he does because he just put it there to reforge it. But honestly, like blue buff, I would just blue buff Karma, and like eventually you can like, ooh, we get ZZ Rot. Okay. Eventually you can just move it to like Ari later. Oh, that's really interesting as well. So he was always thinking of maybe this double death blade idea. I was thinking of reforging one of those swords. I think he was thinking really hard on it, but he thought that maybe there were too many bad options. BT's good, GS Gunblade. I don't know. I feel like most of the options are fine. Um, but yeah, I think he makes the call that all of the options there are worse than like double death blade here, which is pretty cool. Um, it's definitely a tough call to make. Okay, so he's gonna roll here because he is still stuck on Shen 1 and he is like losing a lot of fights. Also, it looks like he's not putting ZZ Rot in. Um, which I thought that this bug was fixed. Maybe it's not fixed. There was a bug last patch with ZZ Rot and Ionia where if ZZ Rot procced, you would just lose Ionia bonus on all your units, which is very very bad. Um, but I thought that that was fixed, but perhaps not. Um, ooh, this is really heads up as well. So he has no shred on this board on anyone, and no healing reduct, right? So he makes the call actually to pivot out of Warwick on this board and get the Heimerdinger onto the board so that he can get the shred and eventually healing reduction with the rockets. Wow, that's cool. I've seen people fit Heimer onto this board. I feel like it's usually maybe it's like a level 9 option, but just actually like evaluating that at level 8 it's strongest here because you need that stuff. It is really really cool. Okay, you go for a third shroud. I ideally I'd be going for just like tank. Oh wait, was that Heimerdinger with TG? That seems really solid actually. Um, it was, yeah, okay. So he gets another Heimer here for potential Heimer 2, and he can just TG Karma. Okay. Okay, I'm just a greedy player. I probably would have just TG'd my Heimer here and just said, like, surely we hit Heimer 2, but that is pretty greedy. Like this is definitely the more conservative way to play it, and if you like never hit Heimer 2, you're gonna feel pretty bad. Um, Also, maybe even Karma 2 stronger. Wow, you think Karma? No, there's no way Karma 2 stronger than Heimer 2. But like when you balance the fact that we're not guaranteed to hit Heimer 2, seems a lot better. So yeah, I think that's fair. He's 14 HP. It's crazy how much he's bled out this game with no Shen too. Um, but like talking about like I was saying earlier, like how does Dish Soap ever actually bot for a game? By like not hitting units. Like imagine if he played this game but he didn't play early game as clean as he did. Like you can easily see like a worse player would have already been like 5th or 6th in this spot. But Dish Soap saved so much HP early and generated a bunch of econ from the win streak that he's actually alive here at 4 HP and can potentially just go forth and live with it. But I mean, isn't that like I think that shows the level of consistency. Like you see you can just directly see how like win streaking allowed him to be in an insanely stable spot here. Man, I still really want a last tank item for my eventual Shen, though we're actually a bit far off because we can't move items from Aurelia at all. Kind of annoying. But we do hit the Shen 2 here, which is big. Nail the Shroud onto Akshan. Akshan 3 ward. Though, oh my god, this positioning was perfect, actually. Yasuo gets to wrap. Oh, I think especially with Edge of Night, that's probably why he's positioning his Yasuo on the edge like that, because if they don't put a unit right in front of him, Yasuo wraps and then he can ult into backline. I've had that happen to me before, and it feels pretty bad. Um, He's considering Ari over. I mean, surely it's just Ari over Jhin, right? Yeah. What else is there? Oh, I guess the idea is you could Ari over Kaisa technically, and then move items. But I don't know. That's not better, is it? I mean, I think he thinks that it's not because he didn't. Um, but yeah, the problem becomes when someone puts like where this Warwick is right in front of your Zed, and Zed can't actually access backline. Though Yasuo's tanking forever. We have this triple Heimer turret now, and oh my god, the game was looking like it might be a fourth, and now it's already a third. Keynes is down to 11 HP. If he could actually find a 2-star unit to save his life, he does have the Irelia if he wants to move items. The problem is that like Irelia 1, Irelia 2 to Irelia 1 is like a pretty big downgrade. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all that he actually doesn't move items. Because Irelia 2 is with her Ionia bonus as well, 6 Ionia is a pretty tanky unit. Um, Right, I mean, the Heimer turret's doing work. It honestly looks like he's just, like, stomping through these fights now. That's another Elim? My god. Down to 4 HP, and he's playing for top 1 now. Just Challenger +1? I mean, surely it's that, right? You put it on the Heimerdinger? I mean, I guess you have to, right? I mean, the other option is to, like, if you randomly found Belveth 2 there, you could, like, maybe cut something. I mean, you'd have to cut Kaisa, I guess, and then you'd be losing 4 Challenger, but you'd get like a I think if he hit Belveth 2, I imagine he would play Challenger Spat Belveth 2 on this board and just play 3 Challenger, I would think. But I don't know. Would have been interesting to see. But I mean, he didn't hit Belveth 2. He's got to play for his strongest board. So he ends up selling it. And yeah, we're fighting a level 9 player. We do end up winning this fight. That player is holding on to at least 3 Kaisas. I didn't see if they actually had Kaisa on their board, but they have 3 Kaisas on bench, trying to deny at least Dishsev's Kaisa 2, and then maybe I mean it's kind of a pipe dream to go for Kaisa 3, though there's 7 Kaisas right now. So yeah, they could legitimately hit Kaisa 3, because Dishop only has 2, so there's actually like 10 in the pool available to them. But it's definitely unlikely. Ooh, this looks like a pretty rough fight, though. This might be the end for Dish Soap. Yep. It is a second. Really, really well played. Really, really clean early game. And then also really clean like late game to stabilize. Um, sack as much as he had to, but then roll down really really deep, and then eventually finding the board on 4 HP and coming back to a second. I mean, just beautifully played game from Dish Soap. Uh, just for the YouTube. I mean, it's really not for the YouTube audience, but let's go. I'm gonna go look over. I'm gonna pull over Jazz Latte's stream right now because he probably finished his game. Um, let's see. Let's see. What's the final result? He's blocking his match history. Okay, let's go over here and go to his lol chess. Jazz Latte. Oh, did he bot 4? I think he bot 4 I think he bot 4 that last game. He did. He went like a 6 or something. So Dish Soap is still remaining. This says rank 1, but is not accurate. Dish Soap remains in control of rank 1. Well, what a nice way to end the VOD review for Dish Soap. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch and all my other links down below. Thank you.